you haven't yet, please sign in. It's really quick, I promise. We'll get started in just a second. We'll give a second for that.
Birthday, Elmo.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Everyone doing okay? The beginning of our spring semester. Yes, we are. Okay. Jean.
Real quick, we do have a couple of announcements. So, if you don't know already, the Baddest Mentorship Program is hosting their headshot workshop on next week on February 11th. Yes, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. To sign up, that's the first QR code. We also are requesting volunteers to help facilitate the event as well. So if you have time, feel free to help out, and you'll get to learn how to use the view wall, the view wall. But we also have the view open house, so you'll get to see it there as well. So it'll be really fun. But yeah, if you need a headshot for like professional or personal use, now's the time. Now is the time. Yeah, like last year, what we did, we used like the green. It's not the green screen, but it was the white wall and like kind of like in the VPS studio, and we had like 3 or 4 different lighting options people could do. Yes, Ari. Yes, Veronica. Yeah, that's true. If you look on Veronica's PFP, yes. So yeah.
Oh.
For those of you who are here for Animation Club, we're having our animation jam next that's not next Friday. Whatever, February 14th and 15th in person at the Orc. And it will be hybrid, so you can also join online for kickoff and day 1. But the kickoff will be Friday, 5 to 8 p.m. Day 1 is 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again in the Orc, so you don't like hurt your back when you go shrimp mode. And the RSVP is with that QR code on the left. We'll also show you the slides later, so don't worry if you can't. If you're like, what? I don't want to do it. You can wait or whatever. All right. Y'all care. Also, if there's I can help cover some stuff. Just pass the mic.
Yeah, pass it around.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Who here is a sophomore or a freshman? Hell yeah. All right. So that means that obviously you have not quite passed the portfolio submission yet, which is traditionally at the end of your sophomore year in the spring. I think the due date this year is March 1st, so it is approaching. So today we're going to talk about what it is, the different components of it, and show some examples and then answer any questions that you might have, because obviously like there's a lot of I don't know what this means around everything. So we're going to try to clarify as much as we can today. So just as a blanket, what is portfolio? For us here at Digital Worlds, it's a collection of your work that's showcasing your interest in digital arts. And the main things that they're looking for are effort in your pieces, growth. So maybe if you submitted something from a class, they want to see that you have grown since then. And then iteration. So once again, you've turned in this thing for class and they see it in your portfolio and it's different and more beautiful.
So the 3 categories are digital design, time-based media, and interactive media and programming. So let's dive deeper. So for example, digital design includes like illustrations, painting, game assets, character design, 3D modeling, all that fun stuff. And people submit work that has been done in like Photoshop and Illustrator, and they kind of want to see you use that industry standard softwares because, you know, that's what they use in the industry. I said industry standard softwares, but yes, So that's that. Time-based media, it would include like 2D or 3D animation. I remember submitting, I had taken Carlson's 3D, basic 3D class, and I had submitted my 3D animation. I didn't like it, but it went in, and I'm a senior, so it's fine. And then yeah, video production, motion graphics, and audio stuff, like if you're, mixing audio. And last one is interactive media and programming. So like this could be like your game design and development, your mobile app design, your web development, any UX UI like kind of interactive things. And then there's more tips on the next slide. Oh, we'll come back to the tips, but yeah, the essay, this is the prompt for this year. We'll send out these slides, but they're also available on the Digital Worlds page, like when you click like portfolio requirements. We should probably send out that link as well, but this year, I don't think it's really changed from previous years, but it's please describe why you're interested in the Badass program, what past experiences you have in creative digital media and or technical work, and then your post-graduation plans and how this program will help you achieve them. Yeah, I think in my past experiences, I wrote something like, oh, when I was younger, I did MMD, if anyone knows what that is. But it's basically like 3D animation, but I didn't do the animating, but yeah. And then there's a personal video, which is only like a minute long. It's not bad at all. They give you a prompt. What are your motivations to do in interdisciplinary work in digital arts and sciences? And what do you believe you will bring to this program? And they want to see like, your background. It could be, a blank wall, or it could showcase like your wall of like anime posters, that shows them personality, stuff like that. But you do want to have good audio. You want to, I came prepared with a little script and some bullet points, and that helped me make my video organic. But I've also seen like one animation student who has graduated, I watched their personal video, and it was like half IRL them and then half like animation, which I thought was really cool. So if you have time, you could go big.
Yeah, notice that it says personal video and it's not like please stand as if this were a headshot. Like they don't give a lot of requirements because there's freedom to get creative. So if you're feeling inspired or like there are parts of your life that you want to show that will help answer this question that aren't just you standing and talking about it, they definitely would love to see that. Obviously it's not required, but it's something that could really help you stand out even more.
This was the tips and tricks I wanted to talk about earlier, but yeah. So like we mentioned, like be yourself. If you have time, make your video fun, because you're not confined to this like, oh, it's a professional video, I have to portray myself in this way. It's like, no, it's more than that. For the game section, I would strongly suggest like submitting gameplay videos and not builds, just because it's like they already have to like, I think it's just more work on their end, just to open up the build. They press escape, the build doesn't close, and they just have to close it out manually. It's just easier if you, submit a gameplay video and you're putting like your effort and time into like making this, a short like 30 or 1 minute long video, and like maybe there's narration in it if you have time. But I would suggest doing that. And same with like any art pieces or like any just like photos that you guys have, submit like PNGs, JPEGs. Like don't submit like a Photoshop file or like an Illustrator file or like a Premiere Pro project, whatever the extension is. Like submit like an MP4 or whatever. Oh yeah, and on the submission page, there's usually a word count like per like item you submit. Like you have to have 10 pieces on your portfolio. But when you submit one piece, it's gonna say like, oh, please describe what is this? And I think last year the max, it was actually like 250 characters or something like that. So that's different from words. Like it's counting like the periods, it's counting the spaces, it's counting every single little letter you write. But use those up because it's really showing that you're putting effort into your submission. And like we mentioned earlier, there's 10 of them. What I did last year, I submitted like 3 pieces from each category. So 3 digital design, 3 time-based media, 3 interactive media and programming. And then I threw 1 extra digital design because there was just one more. I just had like better like skill in at the time. But I'm not even like, my focus isn't even illustration or design now. Like I'm doing games completely. So things change as, you grow in the program.
Also, when we're talking about the word count on each piece, if you're like, oh my God, I can't fill all this space, just like I drew this in Procreate, what more do you want to know? Talking about like your process throughout the entirety of the piece. So like it may have started with this inspiration and it became this instead. And by the end, I learned that I needed to have better layer management and stuff like that. They care about a lot because it shows more than just, this is a piece that I drew, thank you, and it gives them a little bit more insight into like who you are and then how your process works. So if it's more than just I drew this and it's done, or it's better for them to see like I drew this and I got some feedback and I decided to implement that feedback this way. And then when I showed this to someone, they said, wow, that's really cool. Wouldn't the lighting look better this way? And so just trying to fill up the word count with that kind of thing will really help push things along. Do you have any?
I didn't. Okay. With the word count, I mean, I talked about process. I also picked some stuff from high school, and some of those things kind of, if they were submitted in a portfolio, probably already had to have some kind of description attached to it. So you could play around with that as well. But yeah, I don't think you should have to like, don't worry about it being perfect necessarily. Just like if you're honest about like how you felt like you grew with a piece, you'll be fine. All right. Okay. So that was for all the DW specific portfolios for those of you who are trying to switch into Badass. But we also wanted to offer some advice for just regular old industry portfolios. The reason being that, we want to help prepare you a little bit post-grad, or even just like while you're a student, help you find a job or find you, even if it's not something related to your career of interest, offer you some tips for just finding jobs in general. So for industry portfolios, we have some questions and considerations that can help you guide how you organize your work. So the first one is, what is the most suitable platform for your desired profession? So if you're in animation, for example, it would make sense to have your demo reel on a Vimeo link, because you can have one link for your reel and update that video itself without having to change the link, or you can have password protected stuff that lives in the same place. If you want a separate link for that, yeah, it's just like easy to manage on there. But same for other things, like if you're trying to get into 3D modeling, it makes sense to have a Sketchfab. Or if you're into graphic design, maybe you have all of your stuff live on Behance. If you have the mentals for it, and you're willing to make your own website, absolutely do that too. It doesn't have to be super, super complicated, but ideally, it's like the same thing that Jane was saying about the DW portfolio. The easier you can make it for potential employers to look at your work, the better you'll fare off. So having everything live in one place, as opposed to having like a link tree with all your social medias, is better. So yeah. Next, something to consider: what categories can you break your work into? So you can have, if you have a personal website, you could like break stuff up into different pages. Say you do illustration, but you also do 3D modeling. Having those documents in different categories can be helpful. I mean, you can organize stuff how you want. All depends on you. You could do stuff by project, so you can show the whole pipeline of something, or you could, again, break things into categories that you find relevant. For animation, it might be like, this is well, eventually you'll accumulate enough work to where you can have completely different reels. but you could do stuff like, okay, this is my advanced mechanics, or this is my acting reel, or yada yada yada. You'll have different stuff later. But don't worry if you don't have all that yet. That's okay. The third point, make your portfolio yours. So don't omit work that you like. I mostly mention this because there are some places that you apply that are like, no fan art, no fan art. Which is why I think it's smart to put your stuff in categories. So if you had your own website, you could have the tab for fan art, and they just don't have to click on it if they don't want to look at it. But for the people that are interested in looking at your stuff deeper, I don't think it is. I think it'll behoove you to omit a part of your work, because I feel like your fan art is just as much a body of your work as is the rest of the stuff you do, because you're so invested in it. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. Again, companies view it differently, place to place, but I think having it there just in the peripheral is not bad. And then a final reminder, you are new to the industry and perfection isn't what they want you for. It's not going to be that way for any portfolio or reel or pitch page or whatever you submit. Not everything has to be bug-free or polished forever. You gotta stop at some point. Don't freak out if not everything is to the AAA standard that you want it to be, I guess. Does that make sense? Any other?
I will say, definitely break your categories, break your work into categories, because I've found myself applying for animation jobs as well as like concept development ones. And it's if you have just like those separate pages on your website, it makes it very easy to just link them to the page that you want them to open up to. And if they happen to stumble upon the rest of your work, that's great. And if they don't, at least you got them where they needed to be and you didn't have to set up a completely different website for it. Oh, and then while maybe having a link tree for like our job applications is not great, I will say it's a really good business card strategy, because if you change your website but you want to use the same business card, it's going to link to your link tree, which you can change. And I made that mistake, so I have 50 business cards that don't work anymore, so take this as a lesson.
Yeah. Oh, not trying to trash on Linktree in general. It's just when they have a portfolio link and they say portfolio : and they let you insert a link, don't put a Linktree. Save that for the business card, people. All right, and then plug for Ask a Manager. AskAManager.org is a really lovely resource for all these things: resumes, cover letters, post-interview thank you notes, as well as tips on workplace communication. It's a blog run by a hiring manager, and she's been doing it for forever. So if you're looking for good examples of cover letters or resumes, like we can't exactly teach you like all the writing tips all at once, but if you want like a good breakdown of that stuff, that blog is fantastic. Yeah. Cool. All right. And then one last bit. Resumes. Keep a working master resume. That'll be really, 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 really good for you. Why? Why keep a working master resume? Because, as Kelly touched on before, when you're looking for jobs, you're not really going to be picky about it. You're really going to want a job. And so, because you probably will have a lot of experience by the time you're looking for one, you'll have stuff to add and remove as you see fit. So, and there are certain experiences that you have that are more relevant to whatever position you are applying for. And so I've listed some examples here. But again, depending on where you apply, some things you'll add and some things you will remove. So for example, over the break, I was applying to a bunch of childcare jobs, and I'm not gonna include all the descriptions of DAS projects on there because they don't give a hoot about that. So I would include this is like one of those areas where I was okay with including old stuff like the stuff at the bottom from high school, where I was doing hospital volunteering for a long time, or like I was working with kids hands-on. That makes sense to include. And then that stuff, all of that volunteer work, vice versa. The Dash people don't care about that. Like, if I were to apply for animation jobs, like I applied for a prop animation thing, I didn't include any of that there for that version of that resume. So, keep different versions of your resumes. Have a big one that has everything, I want to say, from like high school till now. Because high school is probably when you started working, if you were working, and where those long-term commitments started. And it's okay if you haven't. It's just good to keep a tally of those things, because it's basically a snapshot of how you have been spending your time. Wow, words. Anyways, next point I wanted to make is that concision and action verbs are really important for when you're writing out your descriptions. So, the middle one is probably a better example of this, because all of the bullet points are all on one line and are easy to read, as opposed to the Animation Club one. Try to not make them so long like that, and have them all start with action verbs. The reason why we do that is because your resume, they're probably going to look at it for like 3 seconds. And so they're going to read through it really quickly, especially if these are recruiters who are in person, which you may or may not get a job at those big career fairs. I don't know. Depends. But even if you're, say you're applying to a job with a huge pool of applicants, they'll have, like, some companies will put your resume through software to parse through whatever they find relevant and key things that they are looking for, which is why it's helpful to organize stuff in this way. So yeah, concision and action verbs. Try to keep it short and sweet, unlike I kind of am right now. And then provide quantifiable or qualitative metrics for your accomplishments. So you can see under all of these, I think the badass one has better quantifiable ones, and then the volunteering one has more qualitative ones. So under the badass one, which was just like a month-long commitment, it says raise 3.1K, a goal which tripled from the last Extra Life event held by the club in 2020. That sounds impressive, and I'm not taking credit for the whole thing when I say that, by the way, just putting that out there. But when you say stuff like that, and you've really put your time into that one commitment, say you were like a committee chair or something, that's still really helpful to include, because if you're confident that if you weren't a hand in that event, then that might have not happened. Words. But be honest about what you've done in every commitment that you list, but also don't shy away from the gravity of what you've done there, and all that you've accomplished. If you can try to put a number to it, try to do that. So yeah, it doesn't have to be something super big, like you're an organization leader or something. It could be something small, or like helping out one time at one thing. And then for the volunteering thing, since there isn't really a way that they measured how well the freaking teenage volunteers did, you could just list out what you did, but also what you were commended for. So under one of the bullet points for the hospitals, I put commended for careful attention to stocking and cleaning tasks, patient engagement, and creative projects. And then the rest of it is kind of just, what the job description was. But be sure to include what you were good at and what people complimented you on. So yeah.
Real quick, I do want to add something for anything that's quantifiable. They like percentages. They really like percentages. For example, I think to make the 3.1K one stronger is if you mention it was it raised 3.1K, which was a whatever percent increase from blah blah blah. They like to see percentages like that. They, especially like for game development, they want to see like, oh, your code optimized this thing and causes like a 30% decrease in how much time it takes for it to run or whatever, like blah blah blah. They like to see percentages.
Have a plain text resume, please. I have no idea how many jobs I've missed out on trying to apply with my design resume. But once I learned that I probably shouldn't have been doing that, it was kind of crushing because like you have a designed resume, but if it's being fed through this, is it the ATS system where it basically just scans it? If you can't read it, like they won't consider you, which is terrible. So definitely when you apply for anything online, definitely use a plain text resume. If you meet someone in person, bring your design resume, show them, like brag about it. But unfortunately, in the digital world, we have to use our boring resumes so that we get all the jobs.
And by plain text, like explicitly, like literally no images, just black and white and consistent font and headers and no fancy like lines, like horizontal lines, stuff like that. That's what I was told.
It is really sad, but it's gotta be PDF searchable. Like, this is unfortunate, but that's how it is when you have a lot of applicants. You'll have better chances with the design resume if you're like applying to smaller local things. So don't throw it away entirely, and don't freak out if like your resume right now for applying to DW is a design one. Don't worry about it. It'll look cool. This is mostly for the folks who are looking for a job right now.
A really good resource for in-person help specifically. There's so many great resources online through askамanager.com and other examples online. But if you're like, oh my gosh, I just want a person to like just look over my resume, tell me what's working, tell me what's not working, where I should move things, the Career Connection Center in the Rights is a really good resource to use. You could either just go there in express drop-in, or you can have a scheduled meeting. Not only do they just do like resume overview, but they also help out with interview prep. And they also can look at your like LinkedIn to see if it's popping, to see if it's like searchable. And they also help with like career planning. So like if you're like, oh my God, maybe I don't want to be a game designer, you can come over to them and they can talk to you about different routes for other careers and that sort of thing. And Justin does that as well.
Yeah, you can find links to that, or at least for career planning, on the student bulletin. I'm not sure if y'all have been reading it, but I think if you're on the list, which I think all prospective DAS majors should be on that list, you should have a link to career planning. And I will also say, at the CCC, they do have stuff for like, you know, when they have the career fairs and stuff, they'll have workshops like elevator pitch time, and you can talk to some lady and she'll like tell you how your elevator pitch is. So yeah, even if you're not applying, if like you're like, I'm only gonna get a job online, it's good to practice with someone that you don't know, and the stakes are. Or you could do so with your friends too. Who am I to say? It's fun to do mock interviews with your friends.
Do you guys know Quincia? Okay. Okay. Oh.
So Quincia, speaking of, if you don't want to talk to a real person, Quincia is a robot who you upload your resume and it gives it a score. So this is the score for one of my recent resumes, and it scores it off of the content. So like, are you using those action verbs? Are you using those percentages? That sort of thing, the formatting, so like the spacing, the font. That's why, like, you know, it's making sure that it's ATS, or applicant tracking system, like certifiable. And I'm pretty sure you can upload your resume as many times as you want. And then on the right, there's like a little history of like how your resume has improved over the years, which is really cool. And they also have like interview prep, which is really interesting. They kind of just like, they give you a like prompt, and then you just speak. I think they give you about like one minute or so, and then grades it. It is kind of weird, but I actually did like have a job interview that functioned really similar at the Lastinger Center. Like they did pretty much the exact same thing. So really helpful. And then like Veronica said, that student bulletin board is really, really important. Like that's how I got my current job. So always make sure to like scroll through and make sure that there's like any opportunities that you can apply to or like cool studies you could be a part of.
I do want to add that Quincia or Quinica, sorry, it's not perfect. Like I've used it multiple times, and you know, I want to be in the games industry as a game developer. Sometimes I think their AI just doesn't really know personally my job market that well, and so when I'm like, because you can say what like industry you're looking to apply to, and you can pick like, oh, like business or finance or blah 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 blah, but like for like games it's really hard to find one without like it thinking you're like a software engineer. I'm not a software engineer, so it was like telling me to use keywords like, oh, like SQL, and I'm like, no, that's like not my field. And there is also like another thing with like, it really this ATS also really likes quantifications, like percentages. Like they want to, like you'll get marked off for not saying like, oh, a 30% decrease, 50% increase. Like it's not completely perfect, but it definitely is a good like system to just, you know, just check it generally and check your content just in general, and to see like, oh, you have the right formatting, it can be read by the software, blah blah blah.
I mean, if they really like you, a human will eventually get their eyes on it and will be able to ascertain like, oh, this person's really cool, you know? So yeah, don't worry about it too much. It's just a cool resource. All right. Do we have any questions pertaining to either?
I wanted to ask if I can talk about my experience. Okay, so I spent the first 1.5 to 2 years in comp sci, and I didn't want to be miserable. No shade to comp sci, it's just not for me. But I didn't have much to put on my portfolio, so I had a bunch of fan art. I didn't really code, so I submitted a screenshot of a code. I submitted, you know, things that I had, because they don't want to see that you're like, you know, a multifaceted artist that can do this, that, and the other. They just want to see that you're really committing to the major, and, you know, they really want to see that, you know, you're taking everything to mind and you're really like putting the work in and stuff. So like, and I didn't have any experience in like badass clubs or like any clubs really, so I submitted my work resume. And so even if you don't have a resume with like all this experience or like volunteering and stuff, no shade, you know, that's great, but a work resume is better than nothing. And like I use the one that Indeed kind of auto generates, so they just want to see like, you know, what your background is, what you're doing, how you plan to use your time in the badass major, and like what you can bring to the table. And like they said, like the video's like really personal. I filmed it on my really crappy PC camera, and they just want to see that you're a real person that is actually caring about what they're doing. So like this isn't some kind of application to like, you're gonna work at Epic and you have to have this and that and the other and you have to be really good. It's like, no, they just want to see that you're human and that you're taking the time to do this and that you're gonna take it seriously. So it seems really scary, but I can promise you it's not, because if we're being honest, I don't really have much, but I used that little bit I did have to get here, and now I'm a senior, so you can do it.
I will also preface that I haven't met anyone who's applied and hasn't gotten in. So if you're like, your muscles are clenched about it, just release a little bit, relax. You'll be fine.
I do also want to add that like they also give you prompts, like little things, like a list of things you could do, and like they're not really like assignments, but it's like on the website, like, oh, like if you don't have anything for games, like they list like, oh, like a little like game prototype you could make if you really wanted to, you know, if you don't really have anything and you don't know where to get started. So it's on the website, and you know, it's gonna be okay. Like Veronica said, I personally don't know anyone who hasn't gotten accepted, but I know they have rejected people just because they didn't think they would be like successful in the program because they weren't like, putting the effort into it. Like Ari said, you don't have to be like a multifaceted artist, and you're like, you can do this, and blah, 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 blah. Like all the disciplines. Like, no, that's not what they're looking for. They just want to see growth and effort.
Do we have any other questions? Because if we do not, I have my portfolio that I submitted pulled up and we can take a look at what it actually looks like when you submit it. All right, let's get in there. To preface, not everything is perfect. I would change so many things now. Even with the skills I had then, I would not have submitted it all like I did. Because I was a baby. I did not know better. Okay.
She was a child.
So, there we go. So, when you apply, and you send in your portfolio, DW uses Slide Room, so you'll need to make an account. I believe it's a $10 fee to actually submit it. So just so you know, when you're like, I'm ready, and you push the button and it's like $10, please, like that is supposed to happen. So there's forms, portfolio, and then like proof that you actually submitted it. So here are where I answered like the essay. You can see what? Okay. We don't have to look into it too much. It was a pretty boring answer, but it was true, so that's what matters. If you can put your personality in, I always say definitely do that, but it's okay to feel like just putting down the truth and not too much personality. That's also okay. My video, we're not going to watch because I hate it. We've kind of covered everything. I sat on the floor, had a little script, and because I didn't have anywhere else to film it, so I had to sit on the floor and do it, which obviously worked out because I also made it through. So even if you're sitting on the floor filming your video with a script, it's okay. And then it asks, are you transfer student or current UF student? So obviously if you're coming from Santa Fe, that's where you would say, I'm coming from Santa Fe. Courses you've already taken. So if you're a transfer junior, this is where you're probably like, I haven't taken any. And they'll take that into account as well. Not necessarily against you, but just knowing where your current skill level is. As well as if you took anything in high school, you could put it here. I had one, which, sort of helpful. Your resume. So they do ask for a resume. And then if you have a website, and it's if. So if you don't, it's okay. They said if. But always, it's great if you do have one. And they are saying like it's not a substitute. So don't be like, oh, it's on my website. They'll get it from there. No, they won't. They're only going to look at what's on Slides Room. And if they look at the website, it's a bonus. So the actual portfolio, you'll submit 10 items. They have the overview here. And like these are my 10 items. So and when you click on them, it has like, if it's media, it has the video, the title, and then you categorize it. So that's where you like, I have 3 in time-based media, I have 3 in digital design, and then 4 in interactive media. So things like that. And then I talked a lot in mine, as you can tell. I tried to use as much as I possibly could. But yeah, you can just go through all of them and they're all basically the same. I leaned into, oh yeah. And a lot of these are classwork. Let's see the ratio. This is these 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them were classwork pieces. Yeah, this one was. And then this one I took to the portfolio review session plug. Portfolio open house coming up on the 12th, which you should all definitely join. You get to meet with professors and talk about your work. So you bring in pieces to show them. I showed them this piece. It did not look like this because they said you should take that and we're going to give you some feedback and make it even better. So I did, and that's what I turned in. Yes. This is great. Obviously, if you turn something like this in, you'll be fine. I probably wouldn't turn in my code like this again. I don't have a lot of code, so at the time, this is all I had. And then I was so stressed about showing that I could do things that I sent in zip files, which I would not recommend. It's okay if that's like all you can do. Like the 3D environment was just too big to send in one picture, but it's easier for them if you submit like a PDF where you've pasted all the pictures and they can see them next to each other instead of like zipping a bunch of PNGs in a file. And then obviously you can't see it here, so they have to download it and it's just another step. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. And then obviously after that, I submitted it and I paid my $10. Oh, Jane wants to share hers too. I'll give you the mic and I'll plug it up for you.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna look similar because it literally is similar. Oh, we have a question. Yes, in the back.
Let's say you want to turn in like a Blender model. Would it be better to submit the blend file, or should you do like the whole like, oh, you do the lighting and then render like the images and then submit the images?
Hmm. It's like
I would recommend if you're going to do something like that, like you want to show the whole lighting setup shebang, you could like do a video recording, kind of like the same thing with the code, or like if you have something that you really want to demo, you could just like do a little video of you going around it in the viewport, or like you could even just do like a little camera animation and then play blast that and submit that if you really wanted to show all the angles of it, like it's a model for gaming. But otherwise, I would just submit like stuff at one angle or a handful, with just PNGs because it's easy to see. But if you wanted to do a video, no one's stopping you.
Also, did you say something about lighting, like lighting treatments or rendering?
Yeah, because I took a Blender like the 3D modeling class last semester, so I have models I was planning on using for like the first category.
Mm-hmm.
But in that class, when we submitted, like our model should be like submit the blend file, but then also we want to see the rendered images. So like take the time to like do the background,
Yeah.
some good lighting on it, and we'd also turn in images and the blend file.
Mm-hmm.
And since you were like, oh, zip files aren't that good or images are better, like would it be better just render the image instead?
Yeah. Also, if you want to show process at all, I don't know if anyone's ever seen like a demo reel for a 3D artist, but they'll usually show like the Lamberts like with nothing on them, the wire, like they'll do like a transition. So they'll take screenshots from the same angle so that they can just wipe through each of the different stages. So they'll show just the blocking, the wireframes, and then like the full render. So you can be like, this is what it looks like when it's boring and I started, and here's what it looked like at the end, if you want to do that too. That's a lot of work. Obviously, just a render video is fine too.
I also like forgot, but I'm pretty sure on each piece you submit, there's a max megabyte. It's 10 megabytes. So you gotta compress your videos or make them short. So yeah. But yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Do we have more questions? Did you have something, Ari?
I found out my portfolio was due on the day of. So if you're starting now, you're already doing better than I was before. So use that. You're gonna be fine. I promise.
Yeah, I would definitely like recommend like breaking it up and not doing your portfolio stuff all in one day because it's just so stressful and the mental it takes is just so much. So yeah, definitely like split it up, take your time. So, but yeah, same thing, same essay, video. I don't want to really play it. Same classes, literally we're the same year, so we took the same things. My resume, my really old resume. Actually, what does this look like? TBH. Yeah, I hate it. This is like I hate it. Like looking at it, I hate it. Like this is what I submitted. It's a design resume. You know, plain text is just like it would just be black and white and no header, no this, like all of it. Like this would not be acceptable like if you submit it into a job. But if you give it to a person, sure. And then my website that doesn't work anymore because I've changed it. But yeah, you really don't need a website if you can save your soul. Yeah, this is what I submitted. So like I did like digital design, like even this photo, like I don't know what happened here, but like it's like messed up, but like I still submitted it, I guess. And yeah, like I was talking a lot about my process, so just yapping about like, oh, this is what this is. it took me forever. I didn't know what I was doing, but now it's like this is an amazing thing that I've experienced. And it, like I said, like, oh, it motivated me to pursue game design, which I'm doing now. Even though I submitted like 4 like portfolio pieces to like digital design, like that doesn't like confine you to what you want to pursue in our major. Like you're free to, take more electives based on what you're more interested in. So all of my electives, like I've taken like all of the game classes now. So, and then yeah, I did submit fan art. I submitted a Mori fan art. That's what I wanted to point out. Like I don't know if like fan art is a big no-no, but like it's in my portfolio and I'm here. I'm a senior. I'm graduating. So yeah. Yeah.
You spend a lot of time on it. Included. Yeah. Anything else? Lingering questions. Hello, you.
I'm sorry, it's because like I'm submitting, I'm gonna like apply,
Yes.
so like I'm like kind of stressed. But
Yes.
for the video, I remember you said like you had a script, so did you mean like you record yourself and you had the paper and you were reading the paper during your video?
It was kind of like I wrote, for me, it works better if I write down bullets of the points I want to hit, so it feels a bit more natural. But yeah, it was just kind of, I recorded on my phone. I had my laptop sitting next to me with the Google Doc with the points. And then if you're a perfectionist and you record it 10 times, by the 10th time, you don't need the script anymore, unfortunately. Uh, but yeah, it's okay. It's okay to just have it right there. As long as you're not like in the frame, like with the paper, it'll totally be fine. Nicole. Oh yeah.
Because I felt the same way too, like when I did it, but I wouldn't stress too much about like sticking to a script. It's more just having the bullet points like as like a helpful thing, but you can always feel free to like go off script. And then like I think I just practiced it a couple times, and then like sometimes I would go off script and just say something that like related to what you're saying. So but don't stress too much out about the video either. Like they just want to see your personality and like that you're actually trying, but yeah, don't stress out. You'll be fine.
No, go for it. Yeah, you're good.
I'm sorry. And then for like when you want to upload programs, because I saw you uploaded a code, but you said you wouldn't upload it like that again. I've taken like programming classes where we've done like Minesweeper,
Mhm.
Tic-Tac-Toe, Connect Four. So since they're like playable, like you can open it and like the user plays it.
Mhm.
Would it be better to just upload like the .py file or the .cpp file?
So probably the best thing to do is to record like video of it working. They'll be able to speak better than I will because I have like no working code. But yeah, Veronica.
The way I did it, and like not all my code was perfect. I had like my IDE open on one half, and then the actual executable on like the other side. And then I could like very briefly explain the code part and just like show which parts are connected when I actually interacted with the program. That's what I did. These other 2 people code. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have
So I submitted both actual like code like photos that I did from like Game Systems 1. And then I also from Game Systems 2, I also had like a video of something like working in Unity. And for my submissions, like all 10 of my submissions were just things I did in class. And then I just submitted my resume from like that included like some of my high school stuff since I wasn't in like I didn't do any Digital Worlds clubs. And like work experience.
Oh, sorry. This is my script that I wrote. So yeah, Kelly said she does bullet points. I wrote like line by line, and I think I was just reading them line by line. So yeah, whatever works for you really. And and I would say just, it doesn't, it's okay if it's not done in one take. It's what's important is that you speak clearly, you make the eye contact and, you're confident about what you're talking about. So if it takes you multiple tries, like that's okay too. But yeah, did we have any more questions?
I just sent you my Discord. On your Discord, I sent you my Vimeo link.
Okay.
I don't know what my video was, but I know it would be helpful to have an example. I'm willing to be traumatized for you guys. Oh, there I am. Oh no, I'm scared. But everything went well. I'm here.
I'm Jennifer Parrington, and I want to do interdisciplinary work for the Badass program because I love to create things. I love being able to have an idea that keeps you up at night, and I love being able to see it come to life. I also love the collaborative aspect of creative projects. So I love everyone bringing something to the table to create an end product that none of us would have been able to create on our own. I specifically want to get into virtual reality technology. I think it's a super untapped market that's full of potential. And I think it's really going to change the way that we learn and the way we strengthen our long distance friendships. In regards to what I bring to the program, I am super passionate. Everything that I love, I give my all to. I'm super supportive, so I'd be in all the clubs, and I'd love to be involved.
I am.
That was a really good video.
Thank you. Thank
Mine
you.
sucked.
Oh.
My
Did-
video was like at an angle.
Oh wait, I have
The sun was
my
in my face.
Okay,
I
that
feel like it was probably golden hour and we're totally fine. And the
I
angle
sent
was
you
just
my
like this.
portfolio
You
or
did.
my resume.
Oh, resume. Okay. So smart. Actually. Ooh, cute.
Yeah, so I made this in Canva. So I put my work background in there, some leadership positions I had, some skills and awards, but I also put I had space to fill on my resume, so I just put some games that I worked on. So if you want to like specifically highlight different like films that you worked on or games that you created, and you don't have any like actual like work experience, you could always just add it here.
You know Python?
Yes.
Wow.
Technically, I took it in high school. Yeah, don't do that. Especially online because then it just gets sent out and you get a bunch of spam calls.
Oh no.
Let's go ahead and finish up then. Okay. So as we said earlier, but there was no visual for it, Portfolio Open House is coming up on the 12th. I believe they sent out an email with it. It's probably on the student bulletin. I know that there's a graphic floating around DW, so it's somewhere. We can send out the link afterwards in all the Discords too for anyone who wants to sign up. But you can have student ambassadors, Jane and I, faculty and staff review your work. So you sign up for time, come prepared. Don't be late, and have everything open ready to go, because if you don't, the professors will be like, nah, and you'll also lose time, which would be sad. So that's coming up. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It made me feel so much better because I was losing my mind and it really wasn't even that deep. And then the submission date, which I'm sure everyone knows, is March 1st. Submit your portfolio through Slide Room, which we just looked at. I was not at 11:59 Warrior, but that doesn't mean that the people weren't. I don't recommend it because obviously something can always go wrong, but plan ahead. But you have until the 1st.
I feel like I was like really close to 11:59 to be honest. That was stressful. I don't recommend. It's because I waited to like the last minute to do everything. So that's why I'm saying, make it easy on yourself. Do a little bit every day. Like it doesn't need to be this big thing if you see it as a big thing. Just break it down little by little. But yeah. Cool. Oh, I just want to piggyback off of Kelly about Portfolio Open House. Like, I think it's me, Radhe, and Kelly are the three ambassadors that can look at your work. Like, we are there to help you. Don't be scared by us. Like, we just want to help you because we were in your shoes. We were, sophomores around this time too, and we applied to Portfolio, and it was just so like stressful. And, sometimes like if you want to meet with a professor and you miss their time for whatever reason, if one of us are available, like we are literally happy to help you. Like please come. So yeah, but that's pretty much it. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, the portfolio open house like really helped me specifically because I was coming from online badass to physical, so I like didn't know like what the process was like. I didn't know like what so directly after my like going to the portfolio open house, like I felt confident enough to submit. Like they gave me really good feedback, and I think I submitted my whole my portfolio like days later, if not like the day of, because they gave a lot of good suggestions. So definitely go to the open house.
We'll also plug the open house because I went to the open house and it was really great. Please go. It's really awesome. I was if you're like if you're too scared to ask a specific professor something, there's a student ambassadors like they were saying before. But if you're familiar with like what category of devs you want to get into, you could ask specific professors and sign up for those slots too. And that can be really helpful for whittling down what it is you want to include. Because for me, like I was like, can I include this animatic? And they were like, well, maybe polish it a little bit more. Or you have this other thing, and maybe it'd be better to include that. Like they're also there to help you, and those are the same people who will be looking at your stuff when it needs to get submitted. So do with that what you will.
I think that's all we have. So thank you guys so much for coming out. We'll send out the slides and we'll send out the Zoom link for people to watch later. Or wait, yeah. Um, yes, thank you for being here.
Yes.
Oh, we have a question. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We're happy to help.
It said it's Wednesday from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., but what if you have like classes? Like, would it be better to just talk to the teacher and be like, hey, I won't be in class? Or like if you talk to like, or if you reach out early enough, do you think they could like, I don't know, make a personalized time for you? I don't.
Wait, like so you have classes all throughout that, like it's not within the 9:30 to 2 p.m. window at all?
Well, it's like my class would end from 10:40 to 11:30.
Oh,
I take the bus.
You're golden. It's like I don't remember how long. I feel like the slots are like maybe 15 minutes each. So you would get like a good 15 minutes with however many people you're allowed to sign up for and however many you want to. You could get like you could do one in the morning and then one after your class if you really wanted to. So you get the opportunity to talk to different people. So yes, spreadsheet. Anyone else want to speak on this? Yeah, you don't get like super long, but you do get a decent amount of time. Have your stuff ready.
And then in addition to this, all these rooms have their own specific Zoom links, but then there's a home room at the bottom, which ambassadors will be sitting in as well as people who have any questions. So like if you were like, oh my God, I have this one really specific stupid question and I don't know who to ask, that is a perfect time because otherwise they'll just be sitting there as a resource not being used. So it's a perfect opportunity to get any more questions answered in the homeroom that are unspecific to like pieces and things like that.
Yeah, like you join the Zoom link and homeroom, it's literally like that's your waiting room until your designated time to meet with a professor or like one of the ambassadors. So yeah, it's not like a throw you right in unless you like sign up for like the 9:30 because homeroom starts at 9:30. So but yeah,
Thank you guys.
yeah. Thank you guys.